So soon, another Sunday has rolled by. And our package tonight on Sunday Rendezvous, it is loaded with stories making the rounds, human angle reports, and events which you cannot afford to miss. So I urge you to draw closer to your television and pay attention while we dish out our content. Good evening, and I'm glad you could join us. Do not forget that you can watch us live on our YouTube channel at NTA Enugu. And we begin with the hard news segment. In its determination to ensure that more Nigerian citizens are safe from the crisis in Sudan, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has evacuated additional 126 stranded Nigerians back to the country. This brings the number of stranded Nigerians deported to 4,660, Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
So far, about 24 million people have been affected by the crisis. Since the eruption of the crisis in Sudan, former President Muhammadu Buhari approved the immediate evacuation of stranded Nigerians from that country. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has not rested on its oars in evacuating Nigerians trapped in the war-torn country. The Director General of the agency, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, who was represented by the Director of Special Duties, Dr. Onimode Bandele, at the latest evacuation, is optimistic that the agency will not rest until all Nigerians are evacuated from Sudan.
And the success we are seeing today is because the federal government supported us, and the DG of NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed, has been on top of the situation. I thank the federal government of Nigeria, Dr. Ahmed Bola Tinubu. Welcome back to Nigeria now safely.
Dr. Bandele also revealed that another flight is being expected with more Nigerians to be brought back home. In Abuja, Ilyasu Aliyakubu, NTA News.
Necessity, they say, is the mother of events. This is the case as the hike in the pump price of the premium motor spirit, popularly called petrol, following the removal of fuel subsidy, has given rise to the invention of the use of gas to power the generating set. Beatrice Anyam tells us more.
Of fuel subsidy removal by the federal government, this video on gas-powered generator went viral on social media.
Yeah, oh yes, life is over it. Umare Junction, you cannot use your cooking gas instead of fuel. You know, PMS is very expensive. As you can see, the generator is running smoothly. Very smooth. Very sound.
To unravel the mystery behind powering the generating set with liquefied natural gas, LNG, otherwise known as cooking gas, our news crew set out to Umari in the Woronof local government area of Imo State in search of the workshop and the artisan in the trending video. Unfortunately, he was said to have left the area about 2 years ago. That did not, however, close the chapter as we discovered this artisan, Marcel Onamma, who also does exactly the same thing.
By the grace of God, I was surprised to see people coming around for the conversion. So, and I started trying to construct my own. When you get the carburetor kit, you get your cylinder and your hose. You can extend your hose as how many feet. So I construct it to work. I did it for my neighbor, welder. He's using it. Perfect.
Our camera lens also captured a welder, Wisdom Amefula, who is already using the gas-powered generator in his workshop. He says it is more economical than the use of premium motor spirits.
We're using this gas to help ourselves. Like if you buy a fuel of 4,000, maybe it lasts for us like a day and some hours. But since when we bought this gas, it has been like 3 days. Today is going to make it 3 days. So it's more better than us, better for us than the fuel.
As we all know, there is increment in fuel price, and it's disturbing, But with what is happening now, this invention will work far, will go far, and it will be more economical for everyone.
In our quest to ascertain the safety of this invention, we visited the office of the Nigerian Midstream Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority in Owerri, but the officials could not be reached. Although some experts in the petroleum sector who spoke off camera say the procedure is safe, Nigerians can only look forward to a public declaration by the regulatory agencies guaranteeing its safety. Until then, your guess on this new way of saving cost for power generation could just be as good as mine.
Mary Mitchell Slessor, popularly called Mary Slessor, a Scottish missionary who left her home at the age of 28 to Nigeria on the 11th of September 1876, is renowned for critical roles she played in ensuring social justice, especially the abolishment of the killing of twins. The site where she lived and died in Obiono, Ibom local government area of Akwa Ibom State is where our correspondent Kelvin Samuel brings us details of the present look of the once forgotten residence of a woman that history should not forget.
Her history can be described as one who came, saw and conquered an evil against humanity, the killing of twins. Her earthly possessions left behind evokes a feeling of one who traversed this side of Nigeria. Visit to the popular ant hill which once served as a residence of the Scottish missionary Misha Mary Slessor is born out of curiosity to relate with history.
She left the luxury, she left her parents, and then came to this land in order to serve her people. In order, she volunteered and gave her life completely, even for the welfare of the people.
This religious site that God is re-establishing His presence again. It's going to be a place where people will come to pray from all over the world. It's going to be an international center in this little town.
His Slessor has it that Mas Slessor, as she was fondly called, began her missionary journey in Duketown in Calabar, but later decided to take the gospel to the hinterland, settling disputes and offering free medical services to the people. In one of such movements, Mary Slessor spotted young men digging an anthill who told her the story of how little ants built such mighty homes. Amazed by the story, she decided to make the place her home in Osei-Kodoku, a Bionogbam local government area of Akwa Ibom State, where she lived and died before her corpse was taken to Calabar for interment.
A woman that was an example, denying herself of comfort and pleasure to see that she gets God's work done.
Coming from Scotland, down to Africa to stop the killing of twins is something that must be celebrated, something that must be appreciated.
As she became sick in Odoripe and was brought back, and she died here and was buried in Creek Town. Mary Slessor did what many men wouldn't have been able to do.
Having heard the stories of the late icon time and time again from her grandfather, who once resided with the missionary back in the days, Dr. Glory Edet, a native of Akwa Ibom State and a philanthropist, decided to give the place a facelift to honor the work and life of a selfless missionary and tell the story of a once a dark history.
Even people that are having one problem or the other, this is a prayer center, this is a chapel that will serve the entire public. And above all, Mary Slessor did a lot and she deserves to be remembered.
Today, the center is open for religious tourism for the people across the globe. From the Bionogbam local government area, Kelvin Samuel, NTA News.
We will take a breather here. Sunday Rendezvous. We'll be right back. Do stay.
Come the first time on Sunday.
Welcome back. Prostitution is condemned globally, and it is outrageous when it involves secondary school students who were forced into the act. This report is the account of 3 teenagers from Ebonyi State who tells us their harrowing ordeal in the hands of pimps who took them across 3 states for selfish interest. Chinyere Fesi Okoye in Oka reports that the suspected persons behind this heinous crime have been apprehended.
I said that one girl directed them to my compound and asked me that if I want to do sex girl. I won't tell them yes, I want to do sex girl, but where? They told me that it's an emblem. I won't tell them that I'm not interested and I should go. I told them no, because of what just told me to. I should come out on stage at Abakaliki Stadium. So I don't know that it was they charmed me or what. I don't know. 3 of us went to the stadium, they picked us. I was crying, I don't want to meet any person. He slept with me and pushed me out.
The shanty-like brothel, not suitable for human habitation, which brought sorrow and agony to the rescued girls, unfortunately bears a very deceptive name, Happiness Guest House. The raid was carried out by Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Welfare, Ifeanyi Binabo, in collaboration with Anambra State Police Command, following a tip-off by a whistleblower who pretended to be a customer to one of the rescued victims. 12 girls between the ages of 15 to 25, including these 3 underage girls from Ebonyi State, who are still in secondary school, were rescued. They added that they were mandated by their so-called madam to make the sum of 10 to 15,000 naira daily and 40,000 naira on Sundays, adding that each customer, in quotes, pays the sum of 1,000 naira and above, and the proceeds goes to their madam who kept them under street surveillance to ensure they did not escape.
Then the man took me to the room that they gave to me. I stayed and I gave the man my mom's contact. So I wanted the man to call my mom, telling everything that happened, that where I am, that I don't like that she should come and pick me. It's only the thing that you do, that you need some money, that they give you for the next, they will give you for the day sleep. I was telling them that I want to go, but they said that if we want to go, I will give them 150,000 before we go, unless we will stay there 1 year.
The case has also received the attention of the state governor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo.
The government is sick and tired of this kind of rubbish. He says that he's ready to use this particular one and set an example for other people that will feel they can come into Anambra State and carry out illegalities. We want to seal the place. That's the first step. Then the second step is the legal framework.
The suspects we have in our custody have already been taken to court because it's a pure case of human trafficking.
I'm very, very happy. In fact, I don't know how to explain my joy. If not that it's God, I could have died. Because as I am, she's the only daughter that I have.
While the police remains on top of the situation, the command reiterates the need for people to always say something when they see something. For information, they say, is power.
I do hope that the perpetrators of this crime will be brought to book. Now, domestic violence is the most common form of gender-based violence amongst partners and especially couples. It refers to forms of abuse which include physical abuse, emotional, verbal, and psychological abuse, economic abuse, intimidation, harassment, etc. In recent times, there has been reports of domestic violence, especially that amongst women. Let's take you to Edo State, where the husband of a woman allegedly beat her up on a daily basis for some reasons, and this led to the amputation of one of her arms.
First Lady, Her Excellency Betsy Obaseki, is here at the Specialist Hospital in Benin City to visit Mrs. Tina Okeke, who was allegedly shot by her husband, Jason, because she delayed in preparing his meal, leading to the amputation of her left arm. Her Excellency inquired from Mrs. Ohira's mother if she was aware of the husband's abusive tendencies prior to the incident.
Do we know, say, your husband they beat her for house?
Before I be
Before.
And then?
You know, say, in husband they beat her before now. Then what you wanna do?
Mommy, what's not good? Sometimes go pack load, go my pikin go come take am, go sit stay there. Go see come beg, say me see cars. You say because of the children. Yes,
Because of the children, now women they suffer, then go say, see what you don't do. Because of children. Now be the problem with women. Go there for house, marry a man, wicked bad man. You go say because of children, you go say until they kill person.
The First Lady advised other married couples to explore the provisions offered by the State Ministry of Social Development and Gender Issues in cases of abuse, rather than suffering in silence.
So you do not stay in a situation where somebody is abusing you. He did not create you, so he has no right, whether it's your husband feeding you and your children or not. He has no such right. So as soon as you see it happening, you go and report. Then they come and stop it to save your life and your children's lives. The women stay, they don't stay, they're afraid. To stay there, you're afraid that one day something bad happens. Is that what we want? You must speak up. What can he do? You go and report, they come and correct him. If they see that this one cannot change you before he kills this woman, they not take you away, arrange something. Save your life is more important. What is marriage? Marriage is meant for happiness. If you're not getting it, there's no business, you have no business with it. Marriage is not a prison sentence. Why would you stay in there and be taking rubbish? Another man will be abusing you. And you keep quiet. Who born him?
The First Lady emphasized that the husband, Mr. Jason, will face the full weight of the law for his actions.
This thing that has happened, no matter, even if you, because we see it a lot, the women will be the ones to come back and be begging for the man. So what we want you to know is that such a crime, it is not against her alone, it is against the government. Yes. So even if she begs tomorrow, please don't jail my husband, government will jail him. Yes. Government will jail him because that is the law. So that others will learn a lesson. And this kind of madness going on in this country and in this state, people will learn that if you try it, you end up in jail. So it will stop. Women will stop suffering this kind of nonsense in the hands of madmen that they call husbands.
In a gesture of support, she assured Mrs. Ohira that she will receive assistance in obtaining a prosthetic arm to alleviate the loss she has suffered. Mr. Jason has been arrested and is currently in police custody.
Domestic violence should be condemned in its entirety. To love and to hold till death do us part. This is part of the vows taken by couples during the solemnization of matrimony. However, this vow seems to have been thrown into the wind as research has shown that there seems to be an increase in the rate of divorce amongst couples in recent times. Could it be due to infidelity or falsehood on the part of a particular spouse? Your guess is as good as mine. In this report, Veronica Okeke takes a look at the reasons for divorce amongst couples and the effect on the children.
In recent times, cases of broken home increase at alarming rate and is quite unbecoming. The love and honor which spouses promise to uphold for each other on wedding day seem to have been thrown to the wind. At the slightest provocation, marriage breaks up and couples part ways. Observers believe some of the reasons for the breakups are infidelity, lack of understanding, lack of trust, intolerance and gap in communication,
lack of financial strength of either the husband or any supportive member of the family, intrusion of the husband's family into the marriage, intrusion of the girl's mother. It could be any part of the both divide. So, but once the communication begins to suffer, once the communication begins to be very skeletal and porous, there's bound to be rising tendencies for divorce to happen.
Before we thought status of the couple, but of course you discovered that even rate of divorce is high among the elites. So definitely it's not about economic status. It is about tolerance.
The respondents who condemned divorce in its entirety reiterated that no reason is worth the horrible impacts of divorce on children, as it has ripple effects on their young minds. The effects, they said, include depression, low self-esteem, inclination to drug abuse, academic difficulties, among others.
It's very negative. In some cases, you see these children indulging in smoking, raping, because we have had cases of children being brought up by single parents, either being a miscreant on the street, and eventually, who knows who will be a victim.
The short-term effect on children is that the children begin to be sad, they begin to soliloquize, they talk to themselves, they are eager, they are desperate, they stop eating at home. These are the short-term. Then the long-term effect is the children begin to be traumatized. They don't believe in marriage. Their psychosocial support will need to be balanced for them to say, I will marry any man or I will marry any woman. They are bound to not believe anything a man says or anything a woman says. And if the person eventually gets into the marriage, they always have this ticking clock that very soon they will separate like their parents. If we look at how God is to man, that is how a family should be to a child. Even God is described as the only breasted God. So he's a father that has the nurturing ability of a mother, right? Now, as a father, we know that God is a judge. As a mother, we know that even when we are wrong, we can still come to him and he hugs us and doesn't throw us away, right? The Bible says that even if he will chastise us with his left hand and draw us back with the right hand, and that is the role of parents.
On the way forward, respondents appeal to parents to endeavor to tolerate each other and imbibe the spirit of forgiveness to save the families from doom, as the family mirrors the larger society.
The Isuawa community in Ogun local government area of Enugu State recently played host to dignitaries from all walks of life who gathered for the funeral rites of the late Mrs. Ijeoma Veronica Okeke, the first female clerk of Enugu State House of Assembly. Chimaroke Ugu witnessed the burial ceremony. I reels out the moments for Sunday Rendezvous.
Death, they say, is the way of all mortals. And in that tradition of all mortals, the earthly chapter of late Veronica Okeke came to a close on March 2023. A brief stop at her father's compound for lying in state. The body was then taken to Isuawa football field for funeral service. The lead pastor, Living Faith Church, Enugu, described the deceased as a devoted Christian who lived all her life in promoting the gospel of Jesus.
We must make the most of the life God has given to us. Somebody said that I believe in that life itself is a precious gift from heaven, but it must be well lived.
Service over, the deceased body was interred amidst dust-to-dust rituals. Going by the biblical hymn, only by our works would we be remembered when we are gone. The septuagenarian will be remembered according to her family as the pillar of the home.
My mom was a strong woman. She was our backbone. My mom was a very great woman. She had her ups and downs, but she never gave up. We miss her so much, but we do not mourn like people that do not have hope.
With my mom, there was never
a dull moment with her. She was our mom, she was our friend, and she was our sister. My mom made me have a close relationship with God. Like at times I don't even remember to pray because I know she's there doing the prayers for me.
She's a very good advocate of good health. Drink the right amount of water, eat fruits, eat vegetables. She was like a mother to me as well, always giving motherly advice and prayers.
The late Veronica Okeke was the first female clerk of Enugu State House of Assembly from October 2007 to 2011. Aged 70, she died in London, United Kingdom in March 2023.
May our soul rest in peace. Amen. And this is where we draw the curtains on this week's edition of Sunday Rendezvous. We thank you so much for being a part of it. As our Muslim brothers and sisters prepare for their Salah celebration this week, we wish them a happy celebration. Good night and God bless.